Hey people, every year on the forums there's tons of confusion about ways you can do Ragbrai. So I've made this nice little video about Ragbrai 3 ways. Come on, let's talk about it. Okay, so Ragbrai 3 ways, or maybe better put, 3 of the ways I know how to do Ragbrai. And maybe my experience will help you in the long run, and maybe there'll be a little less confusion for you when you're out there trying to sign up, trying to figure out how to do this and all that sort of thing. So let's get into it. Okay, first off is this. To go on Ragbrai, you should register. And to register, you go to Ragbrai.com. They open up registration around the first of the year, right around the announcement party for the route for each year. You go to Ragbrai.com, enter your information, sign up, pay your money, do all that sort of thing. And a lot of people sign up way before the route's even announced. So, you know, you can do that if you like. But if you're really waiting to see what part of Iowa it's going to go through this year, you know, there's a window that's open between the route announcement party and when they shut down the open registration. After they shut down the open registration doesn't mean you still can't do Ragbrai. There's always things available. People's situations change, so they've signed up early. Now they can't go, and they've got to get rid of their the registration. They want to get some of their money back. However you want to do that, it's up to you to transfer your own registration on the Ragbrai forum, and there's a portal to do that. It's really easy. I've actually picked up a couple full week registrations that way. So this video isn't really about how to register. I mean, that could be summed up in a YouTube short. You go to Ragbrai.com, type in your information, pay your money, and voila, you're registered. Okay, so that's pretty easy. If you can sign up for a book club or whatever, yeah, you can sign up for Ragbrai. Now, here's where the confusion seems to lie, and this is what we're going to talk about, the 3 ways that you can participate in Ragbrai. And all of those include, or should include, registering for the event. And the confusion that I've seen on the forums over the years is what that actually entails. What does that fee cover? And it's really quite simple. I mean, it's really well spelled out in the Ragbrai forum notes. With your Ragbrai registration, you're paying for baggage handling for the whole week. That means that you will be dealing with the baggage truck. You'll be taking your stuff to the baggage truck, standing in line, putting it on the truck, retrieving your stuff in the next town, the next day, trekking your stuff over to where you want to put your tent, and yes, doing it all again the next day. That is what the #1 baggage thing is, using the baggage truck. Additionally, you'll have a bike band and a rider band, and the bike band and the rider band are very important. The rider band will get you into the evening concerts and things like that. It'll show you as a registered rider either for that week or for the day, and therefore if you need SAG service or anything like that, you know, you're a paid rider. If you do not have the band and you need SAG service, they're not going to let you on the SAG wagon. You got to have a number and a name that goes with that to get SAG. So that's very, very important. Whether you have a medical thing or a mechanical deal, you know, that's important to have some support, especially if you're coming to Iowa by yourself and you don't have anybody in your group that you're hanging out with, you know, that type of thing. So definitely you should register for Ragbrai. Other things that you're going to get a map, and you're going to get GPS files and access to all that sort of stuff. And if you would need to transfer your registration, you can easily do it to another party through the Ragbrai forum later on, if in fact your plans have changed. So those are the basic things that your registration fee for the week, that's what it gives you. Now the things it doesn't get you, and this is where the confusion seems to lie to me, is it doesn't get you to the start of the ride. It doesn't get your bike to the start of the ride. It doesn't give you a place to park every night. There's no special insurance you get with this. These are all things I've read on forums over the years that, people think are included in this. No, you have to get to the start. And whether that's under your own power, whether you ride there, whether you have a friend drop you off at the start, that's all on you. So again, if you're using the baggage truck, you've got the basic registration paid for on Ragbrai.com. That's what you're getting. I mean, you got to get there and you got to get back home. They're not going to do anything else. So if you're in a position that you cannot have or don't have the ability to have someone drop you off or get your bike flown into someplace, whatever the case is, this is where the charter service comes in. That was the first Ragbrai way, going in and doing the baggage truck. It's just moving your stuff. You're getting the SAG service. You're getting some support, access to the bands and things at night, and all that sort of things included in that registration, along with some helpful hints, tips, and all that good stuff. Okay, so what's the second way? The second way is to add a charter service to that fee. So the charter service you'll have to go out and get on your own. They're really easy to find. They're also on Ragbrai.com, and they offer a ton of different options. Now, I've done a charter service before where they picked me up at a clandestine location, and basically we got on a bus with 50 other people. Our bags and bikes were in another truck, and we basically took off and went to the start of Ragbrai. At the end of Ragbrai, we would have been able to get on that bus with our personal gear and our bags, and they would drop us back off in central Iowa where our car was parked in a secure parking lot for the week. Now that's what the charter company did. Ragbrai had nothing to do with that. Okay, Ragbrai was the event. The charter company is supporting Ragbrai in the event, and that's how that works out. So, that's the most common idea about a charter, is you're going to get your bike and you moved to the beginning of the ride, and then you're going to get yourself back to the end of the ride. But that doesn't work for everybody, and there's tons of different options. The other thing is, with a charter, you can use your own gear, meaning your own tent, sleeping bag, and all that sort of thing, or some of them offer luxury tent service, which means they will provide you a tent and an air mattress, and they will set it up and take it down every day, and you just leave your luggage in front of your tent, and they come by and pick it up, put it in their truck. They go to wherever their meeting spot is for the tent grounds that night, which are not the general campground. They're usually somewhere else in town, and they're always marked with signs and that sort of thing. Then you just ride your happy ass to your tent and put your bike away for the night, get in your city clothes or your town clothes as it is, and enjoy the rest of your evening. That's all you've really got to do. Compare that to using the baggage truck. When you get in town, you've got to find where the baggage truck is, which is usually by the main campground. Go get your stuff, truck it over to where you've got some space, set up your tent, then go find a shower, then do all that sort of thing. So basically, the charter service usually has an option where you can either bring your equipment, your tent, your sleeping bag, all that sort of thing, on their stuff. Then they're just going to, put that out by their truck, or you're going to get the luxury tent service, and they're going to do all that sort of thing for you. And that is really sweet. I will say I've done it before. It's really sweet. I've also done it with a group that I just, connected with the group. Every day they had a new spot for my stuff, and then I just went over by the truck, picked up my stuff, put my tent together, went out and did my own thing, and then in the evening, you know, basically come back in. They were set up by some porta potties. You had to go find your own shower, all that sort of thing, and that worked well too. I mean, I kind of avoided the baggage truck at that point in time, but which is nothing wrong. It was just more convenient for me, and that's what I chose to do. So a great group of people, and there's many services that will allow you to do that. A lot of people think that if they're going to go on a charter that it's going to be this all-inclusive thing. Yes, there are a few. They even have their own food, they have their own drinks, they have their own I guess you'd call it entertainment. You know, they've got a band and everything like that. Some people would say that's not really the true Ragbrai experience, but for a lot of people, that's exactly what they want. They just want to come in and crash. They don't want to find their own shower somewhere. They're happy that the charter provider has provided them with a shower house, and they've got porta potties set up. They've got hot food that's cooked. It's all included in their thing, and you know that works for a grand amount of people. For myself, you know, we usually like to stop by some local church for church supper at night, and like to, you know, go see the band and see what's going on downtown, walk the square, you know, those types of things. Get the feel for the little town that you're staying in for the overnight town. And so it's totally up to you. You know, Ragbrai is what you make it, and you can do it so many ways. The second way, like I said, is to add the charter service in some way, shape, or form to your Ragbrai registration. I'd also like to add that with the charter service, they usually will pick up in a couple different locations across the state, and many locations and many of the charter services will pick up at a location near the end town. So what they'll do is they will pick up near the parking lot that the in-town has provided. So if you're driving to Ragbrai from somewhere else, you drive to that in-town, you park in the city lot, and those city lots are, you know, I mean, they're there for a reason, you know, for Ragbrai people to park their vehicle all week. And basically what you do is then you trek your bike and your gear to your charter service, and then they're going to drag you across the state of Iowa to the start. And then, you know, you can go just doing the baggage truck every day if you want to. You know, their part of it, or your interaction with them, so to speak, the charter provider, is just to provide you a ride from the east side of the state to the west side of the state with your bike and your gear. And that way, when you're done on the last day, you just ride to wherever you parked your car, and you know, via way of the baggage truck, so you can get your stuff, take it over to your car. There you are. You're done. You can go home. You've completed Ragbrai. So, you know, you don't have to go full boat with a charter service, and all these charter services that are out there offer many different levels of amenities. From the full-on, hey, we're taking you here, we're bringing you back, we're feeding you, we're doing everything to, yeah, we can hook you up with a ride for you, your bike, and your gear, and then, you know, that you might never see them again. You know, that's fine. That's obviously, the more services you get from a charter service, the higher the price is. So keep that in mind. But, you know, don't think, oh my gosh, now I'm only doing this part of it with the charter service, so I'm stuck. No, This provides many levels of service. You know, it's totally fine to just connect with them for a ride to the western part of the state. You know, if you drive your car and you park it at the beginning on the west edge, well, when you're done, how are you getting back? Now, there are charter companies that, you know, they pick somebody up in the middle of the area, so you can do that. So just check with the charter companies. You can find them all on ragbrai.com and find out what their openings are, what their availability is, and sometimes there's a wait list, sometimes there's not. Obviously, you know, the ones that offer more amenities are seemingly have less flexibility in their openings, because people that are paying all that money usually do show up. Whereas, you know, if you just need a ride for you and your bike and your stuff, there's a lot more flexibility in that. So that's the second way to do Ragbrai. Alrighty, third way to do Ragbrai, self-contained. Yes, self-contained. You should still register for Ragbrai, just as we said in step one. Here's the thing about doing it self-contained. Self-contained means many things to many people. To me, it means bagging it. That means that you put your stuff on your bike and you ride across the state of Iowa. So since you've got all your stuff, you really don't have to deal with the baggage truck every morning, because you're just taking your stuff, putting it on the bike, pedaling over to breakfast, you know, getting on down the road. You know, that's all you're really doing. If you are doing that same thing that we talked about, you're leaving your car in the eastern part of the state, yeah, you can still use a charter service just to take you over to the western start point. Or, you know, if you're a bagger, you're probably going to ride over there. People do that all the time. The week before Ragbrai, you'll see people with bags on their bikes heading west. And so they're making a 2-week trip out of it. They're going over to the west edge, and they're starting there, and they're pedaling across, and they're having a bunch of fun. But, you know, you still have access to the SAG service. You still have access to all the bands and all those types of things. You still have access to the campground and that sort of thing. So you are a paid rider for that. You're just dragging your stuff on your bike. And it's a challenge for a lot of people, and some people don't want to deal with the, some people just don't want to deal with that baggage truck. You know, there's a big line, you have to be, you know, it's tough. I mean, it goes really well. The baggage truck is really kind of its own machine. But, you know, if you don't want to deal with that, if that's not your thing, you just don't want to do that, self-contained, bag it, put some stuff, some panniers, ride across the state of Iowa. And at that point in time, if you get tired somewhere, you know, you can just pull up to some farmer's yard and knock on the door and say, hey, you mind if I camp out in your front yard here? And you probably get a yes. You know, you probably get a yes, because they know that they're trying to be good ambassadors for the state of Iowa. And, yeah, if you're tired, you're tired, you know. So be respectful of people's property when you do camp in their front yard. Make sure you don't leave any trash. You know, there's plenty of places to put your trash in. Don't leave it in their front yard. Don't, you know, do any weird stuff. Just kind of clean up after yourself. Your mom doesn't work here, so pick up your room before you go, type thing. And that is the third way to do Ragbrai. Now, so you've signed up for Ragbrai. You need to know all these things. But, you know, where are you finding it? Where are you finding the information? You're finding it from a forum. And quite frankly, you know, some of the forum information isn't really as tight as it could be. You can always email Ragbrai and say, hey, this is my situation. It's my first time I've ever done this, or whatever the situation is. They'll probably be able to help you out. I mean, they've helped out thousands of riders ride across the state and enjoy this event for over 50 years. And so there's probably not too many questions that they haven't been asked over the years as far as that goes. I think email is probably the best way to communicate with them, and you know, you can go that route. We talked a little bit about self-supported riding. Now, another aspect of self-supported riding, which I really don't know enough about to speak on too long, but basically it's using your own car or camper or something of that nature, and you need to get a car or a large vehicle pass, and they are basically separate fees from the registration. And then you follow a special route into town where you can park your camper, your RV, your bus, schoolie, whatever it is, and you're going to connect with your folks. So obviously somebody's going to be driving that, somebody's going to be cooking your dinner and all that sort of thing. So that's another method of self-contained. I just don't know enough to speak to that. The other one is teams. You know, if you're on a team, teams do kind of the same thing. They've got their own rig, you know, they've got their own showers. They're going to camp, they're not going to camp, whatever the case is. But I just don't have enough firsthand experience that I feel like I could give any advice on that. But those are just the cursory experiences that I have in having friends that do the car pass and the camper and things like that, or have been on teams for years and they always ride with their team. So keep that in mind. Definitely good options. But the 3 ways I know about are registering, using the baggage truck, getting your own stuff from wherever you live to Western Iowa to start it, and then collecting all your stuff at the end of the week and getting it back home. Number 2, using a charter service. And that could be for just a ride for you and your bike and your stuff, or it could be as much as the whole Magilla, where you're getting fed. There's a massage table there. They're putting up your tent. They're calling you daddy. I mean, whatever you need, they're taking care of. So you've got that. So that is like at the top end. All those start with the Ragbrai registration. I know I'm going to hear it in the comments about, well, you know, you don't really have to register for Ragbrai. I don't necessarily agree with that. If you want to go bandit and do your own thing, that's between you and your God. But I've done Ragbrai for as little as 2 days and still registered for those 2 days. Just because my luck, my bike's going to break down, I'm going to have a medical issue, something like that. I just want to know that I've got full support. And a lot of work goes into this, a lot of time and effort and things like that. I like to support the organization that puts on Ragbrai. I also like to support the people in the towns that make those pies, have that church lady food, you know, cook those breakfasts at the fire station. It's all part of it for me, and that's what makes my my Ragbrai, whether it's full week or just a partial week, that's what makes it go. So there you have it, Ragbrai 3 ways. Or if you haven't caught on by now, all the upside down pineapple people are going, he hasn't said what we thought he was going to say. But the 3 ways I know how to do Ragbrai. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this content and you've got something out of it, please like and subscribe. Really helps out the channel. It's growing every year. I'm really surprised that we've got over 300 subscribers right now. And it's nice to know that people are out there watching and hopefully getting some out of it. So if you want to support the channel, please like and subscribe. If you want to do something monetary, do the Buy Me a Coffee thing. There's a link at the end of the video. And until next time, get out there and take care of your dash. We'll see you on the trail.